Hello, students. Today's lesson is going to be on problem solving with fractions. Go ahead and start by writing the title on your notes. We're nearing the end of our unit, and so we should be feeling pretty confident in the unit goal. What effects do addition and subtraction, multiplication have on fractions? Today, we're focusing specifically on our lesson goal of solving word problems that involve fractions. Now, solving word problems with fractions isn't any different than solving a word problem without fractions. You just have to read it and take a look at what it wants you to do. Let's start by looking at this problem. The deepest part of the Grand Canyon is about 1 1/6 miles deep. The deepest part of the ocean is located in the Marianas Trench in the Pacific Ocean. The deepest part of the ocean is almost 6 times as deep as the deepest part of the Grand Canyon. About how deep is the deepest part of the ocean? Looking at this problem, I see it tells me that the Grand Canyon is about 1 1/6 miles deep, and that it's comparing that to the Marianas Trench, the deepest part of the ocean, which is almost 6 times as deep as the deepest part of the Grand Canyon. To answer the question about how deep is the deepest part of the ocean, I know I'm going to use this information. The key words, times as deep. In this case, tell me I'm going to multiply. I'm going to multiply the Grand Canyon's depth, 1 1/6, times 6. To do this, I can multiply 6 times 1, and then 6 times 1/6. I know that 6 times 1 is 6, and 6 times 1/6 is 6/6. Now, that answer isn't incorrect, but it could be better. 6/6 is a fraction that's equal to 1. Since 6/6 equals 1, 6 plus 1 is 7. So to answer this question, I should say that the Marianas Trench is 7 miles deep. Another example. The Tropicana Juice Company uses 1/6 box of apples for each batch of apple juice. How many boxes of apples would they need to make 6 batches of apple juice? This problem tells me that they're going to use 1/6 box of apples for each batch. And my question asks me how many boxes of apples to make 6 batches. That means for one batch I need 1/6 of a box, and I'm going to use 6 batches. Since I want 1/6 6 times, the quickest way to find this answer is to multiply 6 times 1/6. To multiply 6 times 1/6, again, I find that my answer is 6/6. 6/6 is, of course, equal to 1 whole, so my answer in this case is 1 whole, or 1 box of apples. Look at this problem. Mountains are often measured by the distance they rise above sea level. Mount Washington rises more than 1 1/10 miles above sea level. Mount Everest rises about 5 times as high. About how many miles above sea level does Mount Everest rise? What information do you know? What do you have to do? Pause the video and try to solve this problem on your own. Then replay it and check your work. In this case, I see that Mount Washington is 1 1/10 mile above sea level, and that Mount Everest is 5 times as high. That key word, times as high, in this case, tells me that I'm going to multiply to find out how many miles above sea level Mount Everest is. I will multiply 5 times 1 1/10. To solve this problem, I'll multiply 5 times 1 to get 5 and 5 times 1/10 to get 5/10. 5/10 is not a fraction greater than 1, so I don't need to turn it into any wholes, giving me simply an answer of 5 and 5/10 miles above sea level. How did you do? Try one more. During track practice, John ran 1 1/3 miles. Jim ran 5 times as far as John. How far did Jim run? Pause the video and figure out how far Jim ran. Then replay to check your work. How did you do? Did you multiply 5 times 1 1/3 and get 5 and 5/3? 5/3 is a fraction greater than 1. I convert that to the mixed number 1 2/3, and when I add it to the whole number 5, I get my final answer of 6 2/3 miles. Now it's your turn. I want you to go ahead and take the quiz for this lesson. When you're done with that, make sure you submit your answers and bring your notes to class tomorrow so that we can go over these problems together. Have a good night, and I'll see you in the morning.